For the most part, the British taxpayer has been abused for years. From bailing out greed-ridden banks, with no return on your money, to institutional and corporate tax avoidance and fraud. But it really does take the biscuit, when the European Union openly confessed to such fraud, labeling it as affected by material error, with not a morsel of redress. How such an institution can be allowed to self-govern with no outside, impartial assessment is a sign of today's world. But it's your money. In a damning annual report, the European Court of Auditors warned funds dished out by Brussels may have been misspent, squandered or lost to corruption. The Luxembourg-based watchdog refused to give the 2019 EU budget a clean bill of health, warning it was plagued by widespread problems. Auditors issued an adverse opinion on the EU's spending and branded more than half of last year's EU £142 billion expenditure as high risk. Their report concluded, the effects of the errors we found are therefore both material and pervasive to the accepted expenditure of the year. In 2019, Britain sent £15.8 billion to Brussels, according to the latest data published by the Office for National Statistics. The report's authors conceded that EU funding is impossible to track once paid out to governments, because these funds then merge with that country's own budget resources. They criticized bureaucrats for forking out public money on footpaths in Portugal, a waste management scheme in Togo, and subsidized contracts for staff at a university in Spain. Auditors found agriculture spending worth £53 billion, the EU's largest annual outlay, was dogged by irregular spending related to the presentation of false, incorrect or incomplete declarations, to potential conflicts of interest, and to suspected creation of artificial conditions. Fraud. And the £48 billion development budget was also plagued with findings of ineligible projects and serious non-compliance with public procurement rules. Auditors said the 64 quantifiable errors they found last year cost the bloc's budget almost £300 million. The watchdog urged the European Commission to review its anti-fraud measures, and carry out probes of member states' fraud prevention measures. While not all the irregularities identified by the EU auditors were classed as fraud, they set an error rate at 2.7%, or £3 billion of payments. Their material error warning signals a serious misuse of taxpayers' money. What we must remember though, is that these auditors are part of the same corrupt organization. German MEP, Joachim Kuhs said, "This is just the tip of the iceberg." The audit doesn't look at whether money was well spent but merely if rules were followed, raises doubts over the true picture. The EU must stop wasting our money on frivolous and self-serving vanity projects. Senior EU officials often claim that they will miss having the British at the table in Brussels. What they actually mean is that they will miss fleecing the British taxpayer. Sadly, it looks like we Germans will have to keep on bankrolling this nonsense. Absolutely, yet you do nothing about it. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe.